Okay. All right. Yeah, okay. Go to start. My voice just is like, nope. All right, there we go. All right, let's see here. Where did we do these demos? There they are. All right. So I've not got enough room, I swear. Maybe I can open this and set that there. So this was our colored pencil demo of the of Winter Night, which is episode 4 that we're going to be following. So hi if you're new here. I can't talk. We're going back to what we were working on before the holiday season kicked off, which is following along with the Bob Ross painting tutorials from his season 3 Joy of Painting. And we're going to be working on season 3 episode 4, which is called Winter Night. We've already done the first 3. Those are archived on the YouTube channel. They should be on the playlist Nisey Needle Felts. We're still working on finishing the editing for the speed felt, which is all of the live streams edited down into one project. Kind of trying to make a time lapse out of all of it for one finished piece in one sit down. I think I have maybe 2 or 3 live streams still to finish editing. Christmas season got away from me and just everything went to shit. So I hadn't had much time to work on it, but I am starting to get back to working on the editing of that now. So yeah, we got that going. Sorry, I just realized my monitor was sitting funny. And the camera's sitting on the monitor, so that might change the camera angle just a little bit, but we'll see. So this was the mock-up that we did of colored pencil on this one, because I was feeling pretty lost on this one. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with this one. It was colors I'm not used to working with a limited dark palette, and especially with snow. So I believe, why is this canvas white? I think he put liquid black on this. I'm not entirely positive, but I think this was a liquid black episode. So we'll see how this goes. I thought this was a black canvas, to be perfectly honest. Wait. Yeah. Okay, I saw the intro and it showed like blue sky. I'm like, that's not this episode. Okay, so we're good. Okay. I scared myself there for a second. I was like, wait, I did pick the right season, right? So yeah, this was just the quick mock-up, and this was just kind of my list of how are we going to handle this? What colors are we going to grab? So I think today we're only going to be touching the dark denim and the medium gray. We'll see though. Now, in the past we've done as close to 8x10 as we could get, because the felt that I ordered from this one company on Amazon that said it was like 9x12 or something, they lied. It's not cut 100% to size, and I needed it cut to size. So the felt I picked up when I was shopping for the gingerbread house at Joann's, that was 9x11, 9x12, something like that. So that is true size. We could do the full 8x10 on that. However, I think we're going to go a little bit smaller on this one. So I think we're going to go 5x7. And my skewers I use to clean my fluffy brush. For those that don't know what I'm talking about. My sticker brush, my fluffing brush for the yarn. since I use yarn most of the time, you have to prep it. It looks like I did not fully clean all of the red out of there. So I'm gonna have to really go through there before I use it the next time. So cut some lengths of the yarn and then you brush it, and then it turns into what its pre-yarned state was. But so I think on this one we're gonna go 5x7, and I know that's a lot smaller than I usually do, but we're gonna try it on this one. We're gonna see. Now, because this felt is 9x12, in theory, I could. Do I want to work this small though? See, now I'm second guessing myself again. Do I really want to work this small? Because, you know, it's like, oh yeah, 5x7, because that'll fit into a photo frame without a lot of futzing. You just have to take the glass out. But now that I'm looking at it, that is pretty small, and I'm looking at what we're gonna have to do, and I don't know if I want to work that small, to be perfectly honest. My other option is 8x10. And we could do 8x10. That is possible. Question is, what happened to the 8x10 frame I had? Because, oh, good job. Okay, there's the 8x10 frame. I'm gonna need the template out of it. So I don't know if I can work that small. I just don't think I can. So this is the backer, right? Glass. Alright. Because, you know, it wouldn't be so bad, but the trees are so intricate in this one. I didn't really think that through. That's fine. This one's still bigger. This one is still bigger than the 8x10, so should be all right. I'm just being undecisive, but I can go this size. Since oh, there we go. Pen all over me. Yay! Since this felt is bigger, like I wanted it, I didn't want to have to fight with the edge. That's because we had such a rough time on the last piece. That's really what this is about. But I have a fair number of felt sheets in this size. The other size that's not 100% 2 size as advertised, excuse me, that one, those I can use for the embroidery hoops, since those I can do the circles on and not be near the edge per se. Like if we tried to do, like we can't really do 8x10 on the other ones because it's not an 8 width, it's like 7. So was not happy when I realized that those were not cut correctly. Something happened. Either they were cut correctly and shrank in the one direction, or somebody got really confused with their ruler when they were cutting stuff. Alright. Get this back in here so I can get this. Anybody else paranoid when you're pulling back the little tabbies on the photo backers, that they're gonna just shatter the glass when they're messing with them? Or is that just a me thing? It could just be a me thing. I'll put you away because I know I'm a klutz. And I don't want to turn around and step on it, which is entirely possible. Alright, so I mean, yeah, that gives us enough where we're not on the edge of the felt, because that was maddening. And then trying to even it up, and it looks like I didn't need the T-square today, so cool. Alright. So, for those of you that would like to see the tutorial in its entirety, because we're going to be doing a lot of pausing, a lot of stopping, you can find it on the Bob Ross YouTube channel, and there is the link to that. Thank you, MooeyBot, for participating. MooBot's back, guys. We haven't seen MooBot in a while. Welcome back, MooBot. We've missed you. I still have to get some stuff posted to Kofi. So apparently, we're still working on adding a tip button to the screen. So we don't need to be this far zoomed in now. So now I have to change this. We're working on getting that done. You can just click the Kofi link if you want to. That will take you to there. That goes directly to my PayPal. You can donate through PayPal. Or I think you can do it through a credit card, maybe? Or at least for the store. Like, you can use PayPal or, I still need my pen. Oh, shit. Actually, I might still need the T-square. Fuck. I forgot. We're not done yet. Just skipping steps here. It's like, I thought we needed the T-square for something. We do. We do. Alright. So, but yeah, there's two things up on the Kofi shop. I had to move from Etsy because I didn't like the way Etsy was doing things. They were getting a little too up in my business, and I don't have a bank account that's separate in a different bank than our other stuff, and all of our bank accounts are interconnected. So I don't want anything stupid happening there. And I'm sorry, but they shouldn't need to re-verify the same bank account every month. That's ridiculous. You verified it once, nothing has changed with it, we're good. But apparently they need to, and I don't like the third party that they're using right now, so no thanks. I'm out. Okay, so actually we could probably and I haven't found anywhere else to go that I'm happy with fee-wise right now, so we'll stay with Kofi for now. That's fine. We need to be offset just a little bit, but we're working on getting a tip donation button set up through Stream Elements. It'd be great if my voice would stop cutting out today. That would be fantastic. Will that happen? Probably not. Because, you know, allergy season. So we sort of have a sky ridge on this one, so we're gonna we're gonna let Bob go here for a minute. So yeah, this does look like a liquid black situation. I have his stream muted. If you want to go and watch the tutorial with sound, go ahead. I don't really need the sound for what I'm doing. I will put CC on if I doubt you'll be able to read it, but yeah, so he's definitely using the liquid black. I tried using the liquid black once and it was a hot disaster for me, but I'd only used it that one time. I was like, oh god, what is happening? Got mad with it, went to scrape everything off to wipe down what I was working on to start over, and as I was scraping it off with the palette knife, I'm like, that don't look half bad, and it turned into something that actually sold. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So he's just going on and on and on, putting the liquid black on. Now, he's doing the liquid black. We're not going to cover this in black and then start laying in our colors this time. I don't want to. I think we did that once, but not going to do that this time. So he grabbed titanium white. See, he really laid into the liquid black, doing all of his blending, and that's, you know, great, but for our purposes, not so much. So we kind of came up with our own colors that we were going to use for this, and kind of figured out something based off the end piece. So that's what we're gonna work on here. So he sort of has this straight horizon line. What is he doing? So he took a Linster and Crimson, Phthalo. Okay, so he's making a gray. Interesting. Okay. That's a lot of paint, Bob. Okay, now see, I thought that was black for us, because I was going to say, I thought he's made those colors before and it was black. Alright, so I'm going to pause that there. Because when we looked at this, right, because they weren't doing a full... Oh, there's a full head-on of it, but all the text is in the way. So these colors felt a little different when we were looking at them head-on, or at the angle that we were at. He does have this like horizon line back here, but then it kind of like slopes down a little bit. So I know our angles were a little bit off on it, so we're gonna try to figure out what we're doing here. So there's this back horizon line, right? Maybe because the roof line of this has to kind of be in this dark area. So I think we'll take our sky down to, I'm gonna say about here. Do we think the cabin roof will be up that high? It's a good bit of ground to cover down here. Alright, so just want to make sure we've got enough room for this. Okay, so maybe in here. I think this is as straight as I can get it. Alright, I'm just using this cheap dollar store pen. They had 2 flamingo pens. We went 2 different days, and there was a pink one and a green one. And I ended up getting both of them. Alright, hang that back up. Okay. I drew that with a ruler and it still doesn't look straight, but I guess it's straight. Maybe, I guess it's probably as straight as it's gonna get. Alright. So, our mat isn't quite as big as this. Now, I know I had said I was gonna have a different mat for this, but something happened when I was working on one of the Christmas ornaments and I was using the other foam, and well, it felted to the foam, and then the foam wouldn't come off, and then it was like ripping the foam off, and I was like, oh no. So I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna work after all. So that I was none too pleased with, but at least I found out on something tiny before I found out on a full-fledged piece, because then I would have been pissed, to be perfectly honest. Alright, let's see here. Alright, so we're gonna have to work a little bit smaller. Well, not smaller, but in smaller bits here. Alright, so we're going to be doing this one a little bit backwards, where we're going to be kind of looking at what he's done, but kind of not, because we're kind of doing our own thing a little bit. We're sort of branching off from what he's doing, sort of, but not exactly, because I mean, he did the black, but I didn't want to. We can't really go just straight black and white here because there's so many other color shades that he pulls out of his paintbrush with this liquid black and just the titanium white, it wasn't gonna quite work for what we were doing. So this is what we're doing. So this one's definitely a Bob as inspiration, but we're gonna have to kind of go with our own colors sort of deal. Alright. So I just need to kind of get this up into here. Now my mat's not flat anymore. It's been around the block a few times. So I'm gonna start out with this dark navy blue color. Some of you may recognize it from when we did that black canvas one. What was it? Episode 2. The blue moon one, the night beach. So it's that dark navy. This is from the Big Twist Value brand of yarn, Joanne's House brand. It's from the Value line, because you know there's different versions of Big Twist that they sell, and this is the dark denim. we're gonna just work on getting that put in here. So I've been working on getting the new yarn fluffed too, and refilling any of the old colors that I already had their bags, as I've been going through the yarn wall, trying to reorganize the colors. I've been working on that. It's probably going to take me, I want to say a couple of weeks to get through that, just because, you know, my thumb can only take so much, my thumb and my arm, because I hurt my arm previously fluffing the yarn. I think I just moved a tendon wrong, and it was like, hey, you're not doing that anymore, for a couple of days, and I was like, oh no. But, that eventually did kind of settle down. So we just have to be careful, so it's just going to take us a little bit of time to get through that. I was working on the pinks first, because I wanted to make sure that we had those done and ready for the next tutorial after this one, because I wasn't sure how long it was going to take me to get through all of those, or get through this. You might hear faint, distant yelling in the background. The mother-in-law's back until February, and apparently there's football on. So she gets a little boisterous, I think is the word, when there's football on. So that's what that's about, if you hear it. Now I know that looks black on the camera, but it is this dark, like, navy color. Just because there's so much light right here at this particular moment, filtering in from everywhere. Now I am trying to make sure that I'm staying on my edge up here. So yeah, I mean, we can do the 8x10s, we just have to get the bigger sized felt. So this might have to be how we handle the 8x10 sizes from here on out. Excuse me. Sinuses are not happy today, so my throat is just a mess. Alrighty. Hey, it feels so strange to be working back on one of these after we haven't done one in, like, what, 3-4 months? This is crazy. I feel like I abandoned you all, but nope, we're back at it. We are gonna at least finish this season. I probably should have started with season 1, but I know we've painted 2 different seasons, and I couldn't remember what seasons those were. And then I was just kind of looking through, trying to see, you know, what seasons had the most that looked doable for me in this way. So this season looked pretty straightforward. It didn't look too complicated. Because, I mean, we can't have things too complicated with this. Because then it's no fun if it's too much, right? So... And you could work in larger chunks here if you really want to. I'm just working in the smaller bits just to make things a little bit easier. Plus I'm trying to go a little bit slower on this top edge here, just to make sure that I am sort of staying straight on our edge here so we don't get too carried away. I mean, I could turn this sideways, but I mean, that could potentially make things a little bit easier. But right, it's New Year's Day. I forgot about that. We didn't really do anything. It's not a big deal for us. It's just like, okay. New year, new shit show. So we're hoping it's not going to be as much of a shit show as the past year. But we'll see. So, Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you all aren't too hungover from your celebrations last night. We think somebody set off tannerite last night. Apparently on the Facebook chatter groups for the town, on one of the really loud explosions after that happened, somebody's like, yeah, after that happened, an ambulance went up the road that way, and I'm like, oh Lord. I hope they weren't related. Somebody around here that I think lives outside city limits has a thing for tannerite and blowing shit up. What's the matter?
What was it?
I don't know. It sounded like P-Butt, but...
What's up, Zuzu? What?
Is P-Butt in his way?
I have no idea.
Alright. Him and P-Butt don't get along. Zuzu's afraid of P-Butt. P-Butt makes him nervous because he'll swing at him. Alright, I'm just kind of laying that down, making sure that's a little bit flatter so we're not too puffed up. Alright, so hello, how are you? Mini clip gains. How are you today? Hope all is well. Happy New Year. So, we'll see. I know somebody was setting off fireworks last night. They were like starting at like 11:15, and I was like, oh, what are you people doing? It's not even midnight yet. Number one. Number two, they're not supposed to be setting off fireworks on any other day except 4th of July. Personal fireworks in this town. And I'm like, ugh. And we've had burn bans and shit, and I'm just like, really? Is this wise? And then when midnight came around, I don't know how they still had fireworks left. They did. They must have bought a whole bunch at 4th of July and just saved them. Although there wasn't that many people setting off stuff or shooting off their guns around here at midnight like I thought there was going to be. I think a lot of people were startled by the explosion, because that was loud. Plus, it echoed off all of the mountains around us, so it sounded even louder. Because Russell had gone to bed, and I was sitting here working on fluffing some yarn. And he's like, "Oh my god," he goes, "that was a bit much." And I'm like, yeah, it was. But no, we're okay. Another day, trying to get used to the mother-in-law being back in the house, and just trying to figure things out. And all of the things and stuff. It's easier to make super loud fireworks. Easy to make. Yeah, I don't care for loud noises. I've never have. I'm very sound sensitive. And they were setting them off in the parking lot right across from the street, or right across the street from us, with one set of people. And then, but we do know for a fact that somebody sets off tannerite around here. Somebody's confirmed it. So they're technically outside of city limits, and they're in sort of this gray area where the county sheriff kind of takes care of their jurisdiction. So it's not exactly no man's land in that part, but they don't have to necessarily obey city ordinances when they're on the outer fringe of city limits, with the way things are set up here. No, they're very far away from us, whoever was setting it off. But the way that the mountain range is, we're kind of tucked in sort of a mini valley. You can see the mountains surrounding us a little bit, depending on which direction you look. But we're also sort of on the side of one of the mountain elevations, kind of. Because a couple of the roads branch off from town and like go up the one side of the mountain partially that we're kind of living against. But yeah, don't go into explanations. That's okay. If somebody really wants to know, they can message you directly, but let's not get into that here. But yeah. Yeah, apparently a couple of years ago, somebody said their kids blew up a dryer with tannerite, and it was very, very loud. And I'm like, Russell and I did not grow up in the area that we're currently living in. I don't really think it's a good idea for drunk, bored people to have access to explosives. It's just my personal opinion, especially in the dark. But you know, that's just, I mean, if it's something you are experienced in handling and you know what the fuck you're doing, then I still don't think you should be drunk and using them. But the people in our area have demonstrated they're not exactly how to word this, the most level-headed thinking people ever. So they like to just, the emotional side of their brains think first around here, it seems, before the logical side even can get a word in edgewise. From just from what we've experienced. So yeah, if we could move, we certainly would. But we're kind of stuck here for the time being. But yeah, so, and then somebody also has like a replica cannon or a mini cannon or something, and it sounded like somebody set off that too. I'm like, okay, good. Because this is totally what we should be playing with in the dark. In the wooded mountain areas. Yeah, sure, totally. So that's not gonna end poorly. What's wrong?
I don't know, those dogs are both being weird.
Weird how?
They're standing around wanting my attention, but they don't want to actually go out.
They just hungry?
Oh, no. Oh.
Weird. They might just want cuddles. Or your mom's yelling over the footballs got them all worked up because they haven't
Possible.
Dealt with that for quite a while. Tannerite plus other stuff. Yeah. That's all we need to know about that. But yeah, so it was very loud for like 45 minutes last night. I think the one really loud explosion actually happened almost at 12:30, and I was like, really? Really? Alright then. Never heard any cops, so I was surprised about that nobody called the cops on them. Probably because they couldn't figure out where it was coming from, but I know a lot of people were all in a tizzy over the loud explosion, but I didn't see it till this morning, so I was like, okay. Like, I heard it, but I didn't see any chatter about it. I didn't really think to look. Until this morning when I was checking messages everywhere for WoW challenges and for me and for all of the things. That's right. So the podcast is on winter break at the moment. The first podcast back of the new year will be next Saturday for them. So that'll be Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern on their Twitch channels, WoW Challenges. So if you're part of the community or want to be, you can stop by and check that out. I don't know who's going to be on that show, though. I don't think Lita's gotten with me yet about that. So I'm just going to put in this dark color here for our sky, and I'm trying to overlap a bit just so that, you know, we can keep any weird thin spots to a minimum. I'll probably have to come back in as we go and add a little bit of excuse me, spot checking here and there. It looks like styrofoam. Must have been a leftover in the pad from when we were working on the Christmas stuff. Alright. Kids and adults, don't mess with explosive stuff. Yeah, don't mess with something you don't know what you're doing. Please don't. Please don't. But yeah, so this might be arts and crafts, but we're not demonstrating that, that's for sure. I don't want to get in trouble. But yeah, so oh, we got our new dryer. It works. Yay, it showed up on time. The weirdness with the friend's name coming up when Lowe's called about a delivery. Still very weird. Still don't know what that was about. But everything showed up just fine. Thank goodness. We got it in. We got it running. Dude actually brought it in for us. And apparently he didn't know if he was supposed to take the old dryer. We didn't pay for removal because apparently there was going to be a removal fee, and we're like, no, that's all right. We'll figure out something with it. We have to see if we can take it to the dump, or if the one appliance dude that posts on Facebook that they're looking for old washers and dryers to pick up, whether they're working or not, is still about. I haven't seen their post lately. I might have to go looking for it. But yay, new dryer. that has a really loud buzzer on it that I didn't know it had. Well, that scared the crap out of me when I was sitting here. It was running its first cycle since installation, and husband ransomware. He's like, yeah, it's in its first burn off cycle, and he goes, I'll be back in a minute. I was like, alright. And I'm sitting here, and all of a sudden it stopped, and the buzzer went off. Scared the living shit out of me. I was like, oh my god, what was that noise? And then I realized it was the I'm done alarm on the dryer. I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, thanks, dryer. Husband's like, oops. He goes, I didn't know that was turned on. I was like, yep, it works. It very much was. Very, very much. Alright, so we're just kind of filling in this top edge here. That was a little wonky, little jagged. That's okay. So yeah, I do like that I've got this edge to work with now. So hopefully this one won't come out quite as crooked, and I won't have to fight with the edges anymore. Being like right up on them and trying to get the fluff tapped in there. So in the junkyard, we'll have to see what our options are. We've always just done the take the thing away, but they usually had free removal. This time we didn't get that, but the sale on the dryer was more than worth having to figure out what the heck we're gonna do with this thing. I mean, we have a trailer. We could probably just take it to the dump. We just have to see what the dump the closest one to us is accepting, because sometimes they don't always take certain things, or we can look up what they take for spring cleaning and let them just fucking pick it up and just be like, fuck it. We get one free mass trash pickup a year, where it doesn't, because we have to buy special city trash bags or else they won't pick up our trash unless they have this specific city trash bag. It's ridiculous. And we get one pickup a year that we have to schedule where we don't have to use those trash bags. So I might look up and see if they will take the dryer for that. I can't give it to anybody. I can't sell it to anybody because we don't know if it's still able to be repaired. We tried to fix it ourselves and something happened with the repair part, so we don't know if we shorted out the whole thing now or if it was just the part, and at that point we were just not really wanting to touch it anymore and we were just gonna deal with the laundromat. But my parents were like, we're too old to be going to the laundromat. And I'm like, my husband said he would take the stuff for you. You just need to give him the money for the dryers. Not a big deal. He'll sit there and wait with it. And my mom's like, no. It's like, all right. I was like, well, then you all have to pay for a dryer because we certainly don't have the money to. Your opinion is to drop it on the junkyard. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Because we do have a load that we have to take to the dump, which is our closest junkyard. And we would have to rearrange our trailer to get that on there. But like I said, I don't know if they're going to take it. And they lock the gates at night, so you can't just drop it off. Because you have to pay per weight to drop off, too. Like, it's $10 up to a certain weight. They're very strict around here in this particular town, which is kind of amazing, but they're so loosey-goosey with everything else, and I'm like, oh, okay. Sure. Like, we can't even drink the water. I mean, I don't know how some people drink the water around here, the tap water. Just don't know how they do it. It smells awful. It either smells like mud or chlorine. There's like no real in between. And we'll get notices about, oh yeah, on our test that was done this date, which would be like a month or two previously, there was this level rise to this percentage in bacteria or something. We dumped more stuff in the water and fixed it. You're okay though. You were fine. It was still within safe levels, but it was an increase, and so we knocked it back down. And I'm like, so I'm getting this notice like 2 months after the fact. Okay? What? No. No. At least I could drink the tap water when we lived in New Jersey. I don't like how they do things here. It's so half-assed backwards. But they try to say that the water smells muddy because it comes from a lake, and the lake is turning over. But it smells like that, like, at least 60% of the year, so I'm like, really? I don't know about this. And our neighbor said that she was giving her 2 different dogs. Like, one dog had passed, and then a new dog that she had gotten. She was giving them tap water, and it was making them sick. And I'm just like, yeah, if the dog can't drink it, and the dog's gonna get sick from drinking the tap water, I'm certainly not gonna drink it, nor am I gonna give it to my pets anymore. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So we have to buy bottled water. Because, to be perfectly honest, I don't trust the water filters to take care of it. I really don't. We'd be spending as much on water filters, having to change them like every 2 or 3 weeks for the amount of shit that they'd be filtering. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Alright, so we got some splits in here. Not really splits, but, you know, thin spots. Alright, I'm just doing this just to try... Whoop, we don't want to knock that over. My elbow hit my incense bottle. I need to figure out how to make a new one, because this one's seen better days. I don't know if it has to be a special bottle or not. But I have an apple cider bottle. It's pretty big, but I want to see if we can try to drill some holes through on the glass to set a new one up. Just sneak in the fiber a little bit here so we can stick a little patchy poo on that. It's easier to do it now as we go. Another reason why I pull this up when I'm done stabbing a section of color through is because if I don't, it will attach itself to the pad and then it won't come off. I've had that happen before, so it's good to pull up periodically if you're using the wool or the felting mat. If you're using foam, you might not have to do that as much, but I don't like the sound of the foam, so it's a little more scritchy than this one is. So they need to add better water filters, at least 3 or 5. Yeah, the water here's dumb. Like, we've looked at different water options, but We haven't found anything cheaper than just grabbing cases of water at Sam's Club. It's one of the reasons why we have a Sam's membership, is to pay for the amount of water that we go through in a month. Because it's just dumb. Like, the only thing that we use the tap water for is laundry, washing dishes, because we don't have a choice for that, and shower and bathroom stuff. So all cooking, drinking is the bottled water. Like, the outside plants will use the city water for town water. But I don't know, this town's growing at a rate that I don't think the infrastructure here can handle. Because it used to be kind of like a rural, quiet farming community. And some of those farms are still around. There's still a fair number of cattle farms on the edges of the town. And some people that have bought some of the farming properties. Recently, I think somebody's got, like, alpacas. Or at least they did at one point. They were doing alpacas for their fur, kind of like sheep, and doing fiber and stuff with them, like yarn and stuff. And somebody else, I think, has goats. And there's been so many people that have been like, oh, where can I get raw cow milk? Where can I get raw goat milk? And I'm like, what? You're not supposed to drink that raw? I'm just like, oh goodness, okay. And everybody's like, oh, I love the small town feel here. And I'm like, you know, if the thousands of you keep moving here, it's not going to be a small town feel anymore. You do realize that, right? It doesn't really work that way. But, I'll tell you, the real estate market exploded here. Like, because I kind of look at real estate for fun sometimes and just kind of look to see how much people are pricing their properties for. Just out of curiosity, what certain bedroom numbers and conditions that houses are in, what they're going for. And I've always been like that since I was little. I would like grab like the free real estate magazines on the way out of the supermarket, just, you know, to look at and be like, they want how much for that? You know, you can learn a lot by, or at least you could previously, before the latest housing market explosion around in this country. You could kind of gauge a lot about a property depending on how much was being asked for it. At least, you know, in the area that I was from. So, like, if it was around a certain price, you're like, oh, that house is in a bad area. Or, you know, there's something seriously wrong with the inside, or, you know, something. And then, you know, you could, like, look it up online and then look at the inside of it, and it's like, oh, yeah, called that one. Or you could look up where the address was located and it's like, yep, that's not a safe area. And so it's hard to do that here where we're at now, because I don't really know this area, since we're transplants and we don't really go out and do shit and know all the gossip about all of the areas. So, but it's really hard to gauge because the prices on everything have just jumped so much. that, like, we've gotten all kinds of postcards in our mailbox from different real estate offices wanting to, or real estate agents wanting to sell our house. It's like, oh yeah, you know, talk to me, I can put your house up for sale, and homes are being valued about this around here. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think you realize the amount of work that needs to be done on this house. It would have to be sold as is. It's a different story on the inside. And number two, while you might be able to get X amount for this house in fairly quick amount of time, because there was at one point, houses here were selling the day they went on the market. Like, some of them were going on the market as pending already because somebody had put in offers in because they found that the house was going up. I'm like, really? Like, it just went up today, and like within a half an hour, pending. It's like, holy shit. People are going crazy to move here. And I'm just like, did anybody tell them about the water? But and I don't know why people are trying to move here. There ain't nothing. This town is not special. It really isn't. I don't know why so many people are trying to move here. I'm just like, what? Like, we have a grocery store that smells funny all the time when you're in there. Half the time the produce is not in the best condition. There's like a Sonic fast food joint, a local pizza place, and a 50s themed diner that's hardly ever open. And 2 different Mexican restaurants. Oh, and a coffee house. That's it. That's it. And like a storage place. They're trying to work on a chain gas station coming in on the bypass that goes around the town. And there was talk that there was a McDonald's going to move out there too. Like maybe 2 minutes from our house, depending on traffic. But they haven't started work yet on either one, I don't think, so I don't know if they're still going through with that. But yeah, I don't know. People are all up in arms about some of the newer chain places wanting to move in, about how they're going to destroy the town, and I'm like, really? Y'all, it's more tax revenue for the town so they can make the improvements that y'all are bitching about that you want. So, like, come on now. Come on now. But, like I said, a lot of these people aren't the most logical thinkers that are around here, so alright then. But yeah, like, we were seeing houses in like the 50 to 60 range a little after moving here. Now you can't find anything hardly under 99,000. And I'm just like, wow. And if you do, then there's something seriously wrong with it. Because it's like, yeah, okay. What's the catch? So it's like, you know, something's up with that. But the housing market still hasn't really come down at all. It's still kind of holding steady. Like, one of the Facebook pages, people are like, yeah, I'm looking for this, and this amount of rent per month. And people are like laughing at them. They're like, yeah, that don't exist. That might have existed like 6 years ago. You're gonna have to go to the, like, 2 towns over if you're looking for that kind of rent. And people don't believe them, and it's like, and they're like, what? And they're like, you can't get rent that low here. You're crazy. Not for that list of demands. There's no way. You're not going to get a 3-bedroom with pets in this particular street radius, in this square footage for $600 a month. That's not happening. It's like, yeah, that's a pipe dream. You need to go like 2 towns over. You might be able to find something there. That doesn't exist here anymore, that's for certain. Maybe in the senior housing, but the list to get into those from the one rental company around here, really, really long. And, you know, age restricted, so. But I'm just like, yeah, okay, sure. Like, what the mother-in-law paid for this place, I don't know if those prices will ever be seen again, at least in this area. Like, the thing of it was, though, okay, so you can sell that for that. That's good for selling, but then we have to turn around and have someplace else to go, which is not so good, because then everything else is more than what we would get for this place, pretty much. And if we move, we might be moving out of state, so that takes some buckaroos there. To get all that figured out and sorted. Selling camera, yeah, okay. So this still looks black, and I'm not entirely certain why. I'm hoping once we start to get some of the clouds in, that will start to turn more of its blue shade as we go. So I think that's kind of what happened with that last one that we did. You know what, let me adjust you a little bit. That shadow is a little harsh coming off of there. Alright. So this is a little bit of a slow process, but it's not bad once we're done. I have the photos of the other three, that we've completed so far this tutorial season up on the Kofi page. And I've got another one that I want to work on that's not a Bob Ross one. Just haven't had time to work on it yet. I'm hoping to get the time to work on that guy soon. If I don't end up streaming it, then I'll end up recording it at the very least. I know that means more video editing that I'm gonna have to do that I'm not a fan of, but that one is quite a bit smaller. Just Bob's stuff is hard to do small. I mean, I can get by faking it small with painting, but doing this stuff is a little bit more challenging, shall we say, the smaller you get, especially his, because of all of the trees and all of the things. So we'll see how things go. But yeah, well, I really wanted to do that 5x7 because I was like, oh, we'll be able to get through this faster. Then I was looking at the cabin and all, and I'm like, I don't know if that's really going to be feasible doing that this size. I do think we're going to need to fluff some more of our dark denim color here though. But we'll be working on this today, and then tomorrow we'll be back at it because we've got the 2 art days back to back. So I haven't added the husband stream day yet to the schedule. We might just leave Saturday as potential bonus time. I don't know. Haven't decided yet. Because we're doing a Planet Zoo kind of challenge build against each other. So he's streaming on Saturdays on my channel. He doesn't really have a channel set up for him. So he just didn't want to go through all that. He's like, I'll just stream on your channel. He's like, it's fine. He's like, besides, you already have followers. He goes, so if we're gonna be doing it, we might as well do it on your channel and get the ad revenue, what little there is of it and stuff. Probably less anxiety inducing if he's on mine than on his own. But he's trying to cultivate, so he said I could put it on the schedule, but I also don't want him to feel pressured that he has to stream that day, so I might just leave it off the schedule as bonus content. Or, oh hey look, we're doing a stream today. Because I can't stream on Saturdays because of the podcast. I don't have time. I'm not up early enough to stream on Saturday before the show. And then after the show, I'm busy. So like show starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm probably busy doing show prep. Like an hour and a half before the show starts, roughly. And then some weeks I'm helping co-host, or I'm helping mod during the show, because the show's recorded live on Twitch, and so then there's post-show stuff I have to do, so my Saturdays are it's just not feasible to try to squeeze in a stream there. So he's gonna stream Saturday afternoon early, probably before I'm awake, now that I've got the auto tweets set up. So we got that going. And he's starting to look into how to do the animated emotes. So I would like some flamingo tappy feet, if he can figure it out. Because he's done all of the art on the, well, like the banner art, the offline placeholder, the emotes. He's done all that for the channel, so it's kind of like our channel. It's just he's not usually up to streaming with his anxiety and stuff. So we'll see how far we can get the Planet Zoo face-off thing going. He really wants me to build alongside of him, So I might start working on my side of the zoo this week. Late night. That might be like extra stream content. If I have time. And if I'm up to it. It always depends on if migraine permitting and all that. Alright. So we're moving along pretty good here. This first day is always a bit slow as we are getting our background put in here. I'll tell you, this weather is crazy. I am melting. Where's my mouse? Where's my mouse? I am melting. We've got to see how hot it is, because it is so hot in this room. I swear. Oh fuck, it's 70, no wonder. No wonder. Holy shit, it wasn't supposed to get that warm. Wow. No wonder we're supposed to have severe weather tomorrow. You guys, like 2 days before Christmas Eve, we had like minus 24 wind chill. I'm not kidding. And it's fucking 70 today. What on earth is going on? No wonder my neck is so angry. That's another thing. I don't know how long we're streaming today. My neck is pissed. It feels like it's on fire, and all of the jarring from the stabbing's not making it any happier. Good grief. No wonder. Like, I have like fuzzy pajama pants on and I'm sitting here and I'm like, why are my legs sweating? Like, I just suddenly became aware of like how uncomfortably warm I am. Like, do you ever have those moments where you're like, oh god, do I have a fever? Am I ill? Like, what is happening? I'm sitting here with fuzzy socks on, a pair of shorts, a pair of fuzzy PJ pants because it was cold the past few days and I didn't know what the temperature was outside, but when I woke up it seemed a little extra stuffy warm in the bedroom and I wasn't sure if it was me, so we cracked the window a little bit just to try to air it out. And husband went outside to take down the Christmas decorations and I was like, well, what's the temperature out? And he goes, it's a little chilly, like you might want an overshirt on if you're gonna have the window cracked open, but at the same time do crack the window open. So I'm like, okay. And so I didn't open it very much and I'm just sitting here and I'm like, why do I feel so terrible right now? Like, is it me? Is it my sinuses? And then I'm like, my neck feels like it's on fire. That's because, you know, it was in the low 40s and now it's 70. Holy hell. What is this? My goodness. Wow. Right, okay. Yeah, tomorrow we're good. So here's the deal. Tomorrow we have an art stream planned. It says it's 4 o'clock start. I'm gonna be starting sooner if possible. I do like to start sooner when I can. So I try to start by 4 p.m. at the latest Central Time. But yeah, when possible, I do try to start sooner. So, you know, we managed to start before 4 p.m. today, so that was cool. That was good. That being said, tomorrow afternoon, we are supposed to get thunderstorms. And they're saying that we have the potential for severe storms. I'm still gonna try to stream tomorrow. It's not like our WoW Challenges characters where, you know, we could stream, but we'd have to do something that wasn't WoW Challenges, so we didn't lose anybody. Because, you know, for that, if your character dies, you're done, no matter what caused the death. So, we can still stream art. That's not a big deal. It's just if the power's out, then I won't be able to stream, obviously. So the plan is we're still going to try to stream, though it might be a slightly distracted stream because I will have to keep a check on the weather because they're talking all modes are possible for severe weather tomorrow. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Because if they throw up a tornado warning, then I'm going to have to bounce temporarily. Or put a "be right back." Sign up. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that it's just a false alarm. But we'll see. We'll still have to respect any warnings that are thrown our way. And listen to what the weather people are advising. It's 70.
Fun.
Yeah, that's why we feel like such shit.
Yeah, everything probably trying to bloom and big temperature change.
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm as good as I'm gonna be.
Alright, well, you vanished. I was just checking on you.
Yeah, I'm gonna do tomorrow.
Okay. Try to keep an eye on him. With his anxiety and stuff. Just making sure he was alright. And didn't need me for a moment. I'm sure if I took these fuzzy pants off, I'd be freezing. Alright, so anybody have any New Year's traditions that you do? Hang on, my one earbud's not sitting right. I have to reseat it. There we go. So does anybody have any New Year's traditions that they do? Like, we don't really do anything. We can't be bothered, to be perfectly honest. We're just here. We're not, like, we try to hold on to a couple of traditions, but then the non-functioning part of my brains is just like, meh. And then, you know, some traditions also take money that we don't have, so. can't believe that looks so black. It's crazy. So I am trying to work in smaller amounts here, just to make things a little bit easier. That way I can take a break here and there with my neck. So I'm using a small gauge needle. Remember, have your finger protectors on. Don't be like me when we were working on the Christmas stuff and get your fingers in the way that aren't protected. I tell you, it felt so weird the past couple of nights not to be scrambling to get Reggie finished. It was so strange to be back on our normal streaming schedule. Now that I've done the big Reggie, I kind of want to do a big Marvin, but I don't have room for big Marvin, so I don't quite know what to do about that. Right now I only have room for tiny Marvin. I think if I tried to do a big Marvin, and sorry, for those that don't know who Marvin is, Marvin's got all kinds of embroidery floss wrapped around him right now because he's just holding some art supplies for me that I didn't want to get tangled up. But, so Marvin's my desk lawn flamingo that I made. He's our, sort of our channel mascot. But I think if I do a big Marvin, I kind of want to get a craft foam egg for the body, just so I don't have to come up with that much roving as a body core. That's a lot. That would be a lot. So we've been working more on that side. So we should probably come over here. Work on this side a bit. Since we've been favoring the other side, so we can try to keep these edges even. It doesn't always work that way though. As we're seeing this one get a little skew. I mean, the other side was looking really good. But we still have quite a few layers to go here. So we still need to do our light in the sky area with our dark gray. And then we have to do our trees and stuff, so it's probably going to take a little bit to get this background color in. But you know what? That's okay. I'm not in a huge rush. I'm really not. Sometimes it can just be really mesmerizing just to kind of relax. Just kind of poke your fluff through what you're doing. Just kind of chill out And it's also kind of fun just to slowly watch everything come together. So I'm just kind of rolling this into like a little sneaky guy, a little tube shape. Just because it tightens the fibers up a little bit. So we don't have to do quite so many layers to get everything looking like it's behaving. Now this edge here we do need to revisit a little bit, but I think I'm going to visit that with our gray. Plus we're going to have a big tree here, so anything that's a little extra wobbly will most likely be taken care of by either the gray coming in or the tree that's going to sit on top of it there. Oh, I just had a thought. That would be super fun. So you know how Bob does his contact paper ones, right? Where then the border is a different color, then it's either like the bright white or the light gray that's almost white that they sometimes use on the canvas. And he'll peel it off and then he'll have like this crisp border, and sometimes he spills over off the border. That would be fun. That would make this more of a 9x12 finished piece because we wouldn't be able to cut off the edge and we wouldn't have that clean edge there. It's something to think about. I don't think I'm going to do it in this one, but you know, something to think about for a potential one. Now we wouldn't have to involve the contact paper or anything, but we could do it. See how we have the border here, and then we could like spill off the border a little bit and just not trim the edge. So that's always a possibility too. Alright, so the back's looking pretty good too. Still have some glitter everywhere. Of course we do. We'll never be getting rid of that, obviously. The mat still smells. I just got a whiff of it. What corner was it? That corner, I think. I still got a whiff of the wax melt that spilled on it. I was like, oh. I did get some more wax melts for Christmas in the Dragon Blood, the scent that doesn't bother me. Or at least on a good day it doesn't bother me. But I already have a slight headache going, so I didn't end up turning the wax melter on today. Because I was just like, oh, I would like to, but I also didn't want to tip the migraine meter either. Because it already kind of feels like it's starting to slide over into migraine today, and I'm like, no. I have things that we need to do. When I am done here, I have to help the husband get the tree taken down, box up all of the Christmassy things, put them away for safekeeping until next year. So it's kind of like body. If we could get on the same page here, I really need you to not do this today. It doesn't help that we've got severe weather coming in tomorrow because it hasn't rained or snowed in since before Christmas, so. And with the mood swinging temperatures here, my previous neck injury is not happy at all. So definitely feeling the pressure changes when they're this quick, when they're this drastic. If they're gradual and they slowly get there, it's a little bit gentler, but from having a low in the low 40s last night to FN 70 this afternoon, not fun. And then we're supposed to go back down into the lows in the 20s for a few days this week, and I'm just like, can we stop with this, please? We just need to pick a temperature for a little bit and just kind of stay there. I'm just in this weird temperature swirling vortex of hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold constantly. Like, I used to complain that back in New Jersey we didn't really have fall or spring. It was just like winter or summer. And here it doesn't know what season it is. Like, today it's summer, tomorrow it's winter, next week it's spring. Like, it won't make up its mind. Alright. Yeah, I think well, we might not need more of this color to finish the sky on this piece. I do think I'm going to have to fluff some more of this just to top off our bag here to keep it nice and full for when I do need it. I do try to refill those as I use them. So that way I don't sit down for stream and I'm like, oh wait, we have to fluff more of this color before we can get started. So I am trying to overlap this, like I said, a little bit, just so it doesn't look quite so stripy as the color chunks are sitting on top of each other. Just to kind of make things a little bit easier. And potentially fill in any thin sections. I do like doing it on this neutral gray. We might try to get some more of this when we run out. This feels like a pretty good color to go with. It's not too obnoxious. Like right in here there's a little bit of a thin spot, but like I said, we've got that other gray coming in on top of this, and then we've got a tree that's going to be kind of hanging over, so those two things will take care of that in that specific spot. So I'm not going to worry too much about that particular section in there. Alright, I do want to try to get our edge done over here, at least. So that way I can work on filling out the rest of it. And that way I don't have to be quite so precise. So right now I'm just really trying to watch this edge line here so that we're sort of lined up with it as much as we can be, because this is our hard edge that I want to try to keep as clean as possible. I mean, we'll be able to trim it a little bit, but still, it's a little besides the point. I do want to try to make sure that we're not getting a little too carried away here with things and stuff. You know, we don't want to be too far over because then it won't fit without a bunch of fussing in the 8x10 frame. Alright, so hope everybody had a good holiday and that their weekend and everything was good. I was messing around a little bit in Timberborn on my own this week. There's still technically an early access. But I also was playing while I was fluffing yarn, and I just had it on like first speed, so I wasn't rushing through it. So while they were building what I was telling them to build, I was sitting here working on yarn, because it was one of the few games I can play semi-distractedly. And I was just like, we should get in there and work on that. And just see what we can do. And I will say, because I was looking at the tutorials, what I wanted to do. I wanted to see if they had changed it. And they changed a little bit of the tutorial. Not very much, though. Oh, look at this, I've got hangnails everywhere. Did not even see that before we got started. But no, I was surprised to see that some of the new stuff they didn't talk about. So like they talked about how some of the like the warehouse changes and the stockpile changes for where you can only have one thing per warehouse or stockpile or tank can be in there. But they didn't talk about the teeth grinder that they put in. So your beavers can break their teeth, apparently, and then they won't work if their job is for cutting down wood. So you have to put in a teeth grinder for them. I'm like, what is the symbol above your head? And I was like, oh shit. So I really do need to get back to beavers. There's so much I want to do and I just don't have enough time to do it. Because I can't stream 7 days a week right now, although we might be trying to do that soon with shorter late night streams. It depends on if the husband can tolerate me streaming while he's in bed, because we're both in the same room again while the mother-in-law's here. And it also depends on our friend's work schedule and if they're gonna be preoccupied doing stuff. Because right now we don't stream on Tuesday or Wednesday. It gives me a chance to dick around and get caught up on stuff that I need to do and just have some time off. A little on the edge there, but we're gonna have the tree there, so. But it gives them their time. Like Tuesday afternoons, he has D&D with some friends. A lot of weeks they end up canceling for whatever reason. Somebody can't make it, or he's just not up to playing that week because he's the DM. But our friend has class on the day that they're supposed to be playing. So I don't know if he thinks he might be able to squeeze in playtime in between his two classes. I think he's full of shit because I don't know what time his second class in the afternoon starts, because I don't know if you remember to factor in drive time to get over to the school and get out the door and stuff and get the dogs settled and everything before he has to walk out the door. Don't know, but I don't know if they're gonna have to change their day for D&D. I don't know if the others have a day that they can swap to. So as of right now, this is the stream schedule. I hope I don't have to change it again. I at least like to try to stream on the same days, right? I don't like changing the days up on you guys. Sometimes the times aren't 100% always what we're starting at because, you know, I don't sleep very well. And sometimes when I do finally fall asleep, then I sleep till I can drag myself out of bed. So some days we have a later start than others. I'm trying to keep a more consistent time, and we used to start around 3 or 2, but then I had to bump it back to 4 because I just wasn't getting up in time. But yeah, so Tuesdays they play D&D, and then Wednesday was a day that he didn't have class, but he was off from work. Usually, until I started messing with his schedule again. So we'll see what happens, but we might try to squeeze in a couple of later in the evening streams to try to start work on my side of the zoo for our challenge against each other stuff. So we'll see. this one spot here is being exceptionally stubborn. And I don't know how far the tree's gonna come over, so I don't know if that's gonna get covered. So I am trying to cover that particular location, because I'm pretty sure the gray's not gonna come down quite that far. Like the gray in the sky, so do want to see about getting that filled in there. What's up, Momo?
Hang on, Momo.
Do I need to get him?
I'll get him.
Okay. I just didn't know if I needed to.
I'm just making sure I'm safe.
So one good thing about that grind location is that there's not too many hostiles walking around.
Yeah, I was actually off looking for groups instead.
Oh, okay. If you see any rich soil, go ahead and use...
I have.
Okay.
I actually went and checked that area a couple times. I've only gotten one so far. And I found a seed earlier, so...
Of course.
Come on, almost. Oh.
I no sooner get rid of 3 and then pick up 2 more. Alright. So this is working out pretty good so far. Pretty good. I'm surprised that it keeps looking quite so black here when it's not. But not a whole lot we can do about that. Alright, so let's work on getting in this skyline here. That I'm hoping doesn't change too much. It might have to change a little bit. Like I might have to add to part of it. I might have to like fill in some more down in here as we go, but to start off with, this is how I'm gonna set this up. I know when we were working on the sketch, I had it more of a curve in here, but we'll see. All right, now let's work on getting this section. I keep thinking that there's something on here, but it's just wear and tear on this thing. Like it keeps looking like there's like a crumb or something on the end of it, but that's attached. It's the way the leather is wearing on that. I know watching paint dry is probably a little bit more riveting than this so far, but you know, you gotta start somewhere, and this is us putting in our background color. And figured if I was gonna be working on this anyway, we might as well be streaming it. Cause why not? Why not? Might as well. Well, I think I need to put in some time on my Bloodthirsty Challenger this week. Probably should at some point. If the podcast is gonna be back. And I don't know who is supposed to be co-hosting this week. She might be doing a solo show this week, actually. I have not heard from her. So we will see. Very loud vehicle. Oh, we dropped frames. When did we drop frames? That's odd. We live on a very busy street and I have the window cracked open, so traffic's gonna be a little bit louder. Right now there's an ambulance or something in the background. We don't live that terribly far from the firehouse. Sounds like they went into a different part of town, though. Or I don't hear them anymore. Alright. So just so if you're new here, you know, it's gonna be a little noisy in the background. I can't help that. The house we live in is old. Like, I've seen two different build dates. One was 1921, one was 1926. I think additions have been put on since that original build date, just by the way things are laid out very strangely in here, but, you know, it's not exactly as soundproof as some of the newer constructions out there, maybe. So that is just something that we kind of have to cope with. It's amazing how black that looks. Like, my one screen, it looks black. On the preview, it looked like what you guys are seeing on Twitch looks a little more navy. On my other OBS preview that I've got going on my side, on my desktop, it looks black. That is so strange. Alright, so let's get you layered in here. Everything okay? Alright. Oh. Gotcha. So, yeah, so I hope everybody had a good New Year's Eve and that your New Year's Day, that your 2023 is starting out pretty good, or at least quietly, calmly, if that's possible. I'm just hoping for a less chaotic year and as calm of a year as we can get away with. Probably not possible, but here's to hoping. And maybe we might be able to get to the zoo once. I don't know what zoo we're going to. We haven't been to Springfield yet.
Wait, what's going on?
I don't know what zoo we might be going to, because Springfield is the same distance as Tulsa. I didn't know if you wanted to try a new zoo, or if you just wanted to go to Tulsa.
I mean, we could try.
I don't know. We have to look at the topography and the drive and see. And look at entrance fees and stuff, because we're familiar with Tulsa, so we know what to expect there. But from what I was seeing, Springfield is about the same distance. I just don't know if they are in comparable size or not. Like, I don't want to go that size for a smaller than Tulsa Zoo. Because either way, it's still a 2-hour drive. But we're pretty familiar with the drive to Tulsa, so... it's pretty straight after we get through a certain point.
Well, definitely not going to Springfield this trip.
Okay. Any particular reason?
Amongst other things, no outdoor food and drink.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
I didn't realize that. Yeah, that's a problem. For us.
They
So,
also estimate that the typical true zoo visit would be 1.5 hours.
that's not worth a 2-hour drive.
Nope.
So no, we'll go to Tulsa. Like, I've had several people tell me we should go check out the St. Louis Zoo, but that's a little bit further of a drive than we can do right now. That would probably be a weekend trip, and we can't do a weekend trip right now. Number one, we can't be away from the house for the weekend at the moment, nor do we have the money. Got too much else going on here with trying to keep an eye on parentals and all of that, so. And the doggos. I mean, the cats would be fine. We could probably get a couple auto feeder, like gravity feeders, not auto feeders, to put around the house for them for overnight, but the dogs flip out if we're gone too terribly long. And then we can't be gone that long and leave my parents to their own devices, or his mom. Somebody needs to be here to keep an eye on everybody. Just make sure nobody's doing anything silly. But we could probably sneak away for a few hours to Tulsa, maybe. It depends on a lot of things. So you can use wool roving for this, or you can use whatever yarn you want to. If you use yarn, there is an extra bit of prep involved. 'Cause I know some people have like wool allergies and stuff, which is the traditional fiber of choice for needle felting. So this felt, it said it was made with recycled plastic bottles. Made with EcoFi, a PET fiber made with up to 100% recycled purified plastic bottles. This has been working pretty good. But I have some of the I'm just doing this to help it lay a little bit flatter and to make sure we're not attaching to the mat, which we've done in the past. I have some of the wool fiber. This is not wool though. This is acrylic yarn. So you're not gonna find the acrylic yarn in the store like this though. You're gonna find the acrylic yarn in the store like, hang on, let me move my sketch. You're gonna find it like this. So you have to cut some sections roughly the same length, and then, you know, you get a handful or however many you can handle. And like I showed in the one yarn prep video I have up on the channel, and I've shown it before previously, cut your lengths, and then you can either put it on like a self-healing cutting mat or a piece of cardboard. Do not put it on your lap because the brush will rip to shreds whatever pants you have on. It can mess up the skin on your fingers a little bit, rough it up. I'm getting better at not getting my finger in there. When I hold it, I prefer to hold it instead of putting it on the cardboard, because when I put it on the cardboard it's a little scritchy from the comb, from the brush scraping it, but that's what this is for. So then you get your lengths of yarn, and then you brush it out, and you'll get this caught in there. You just peel it up, and then you'll also have whatever you brushed out in your hand. You can use both. Just because it's stuck in the brush doesn't mean anything. It's still perfectly usable. It just means that came off of the stuff that was in your hand. That's fine. Still usable. Still fine. Let me move this back out of the way. Put that off to the side. So, I mean, if you want to go with whatever yarn fiber works better for you, or that you may have extra of laying around. The only thing I would suggest not using it with, I don't know if you can use it with the cotton-based yarns. I don't know how that's going to work out. You might need to go acrylic-based yarn. I think the cotton yarn, I guess it depends on the type of cotton yarn, really. But, like, you wouldn't be able to use it with, like, the sugar and cream stuff. That's, I think, going to be too stringy. I don't think it's gonna fluff. So that might take a little bit of experimentation, but I just don't know if it's gonna work. Like, if it's fluffy cotton, like if it feels like regular yarn kind of, it might be alright. It's just I think the sugar and cream is a different breed of cotton yarn, where that's a little more stringy, so I don't think it's gonna work with that. But you know, if you have a cotton yarn that feels like similar to like a cotton ball or something, that might work. You might be able to fluff that. That would be an experiment, so I wouldn't buy it specifically to do this with until you've tried it. Like if you had some left over from a project and you tested it out yourself to see if it would fluff, but I wouldn't go gung-ho and buy a whole bunch of it without testing to see if it will fluff the way you're wanting it to. You know? Because yarn is not cheap. Some yarn is very expensive depending on the fiber that you're using. or the brand that it's from. So there was a couple of splits, or not splits, but thin spots up in here that I just want to go ahead and fill in now, because I'm not sure if I'm going to be having any of our dark grays sitting on that spot, and it's just easier to hit up anything that I want to fill in when I see it. Than it is to try to find it later. Kind of situation. So yeah, so this is the Big Twist value. That's what it's called, Big Twist value from Joann's, this color. I have also been picking up Paintbox Simply Chunky. They have a Super Chunky, but I've been using the Simply Chunky because they have, they did have 63 shades in their line. Now it says 60, and one of the colors that I had my eye on that had been out of stock for a while, looks like it may have been discontinued. So I'm sad about that, but they have a good number of shades, and they're $2.99. No, I'm sorry, not $2.99. They're $3.99. The balls are a little bit smaller than the Big Twist ones, but the Big Twist ones are $4.99. These ones are $3.99 from lovecraft.com. Lovecrafts, excuse me. Not affiliated in any way. This is not sponsored, although hey, if you'd like to be. But no, not sponsored. I bought all this stuff and everything, and I do like it. This is their slate green, I believe. And this is the Simply Chunky. So it's a little bit thicker. And I got a whole bunch on sale for Christmas. They had a sale on it at Christmas at $1.99, I think, a ball, or close to that. So they have some decent sales on that. I mean, it's 149 yards. So they're not super big, but I also don't have a whole lot of room to store stuff right now, so. But what I've used of it so far, I like. Alright, so I'm just going to try to overlap that a little bit. So we're still working on putting in our background of our sky. And I know that this is a bit of a process, especially when we're first getting going on a new piece, especially one of his. So we got to get that base color in before we can start building up on it. But I do think it is worth it. Now, some people might alternate the background color with like that cloud color, that gray color that he put in there. I could have done that a bit, but for this, I just decided to fill this in solid first. Because that way, if we have any thinner spots. Wow! That is a very loud vehicle. I don't think that was a motorcycle either. There's a car that sounds like a motorcycle. in this town. That was a bit obnoxious. Like I was saying earlier, bored people. Never mind. We'll see what happens here. But yeah, no, like I want the dark already laid in, so that way if we do have a thinner spot on this shade, on the cloud shade, that it'll kind of shine through those lighter spots, and that'll be okay. So I'm bummed that my idea for the other matte wasn't gonna work after all, but that's alright. At least this color, or this felt from Joann's is actually the size it says it is. So I kind of got, not necessarily ripped off, but wasn't happy that the stuff that I picked out on Amazon was not the size that it said it was. I think the size on Amazon said it was supposed to be like 8.5 by 11. I'm like, okay, that'll, or 8.5, yeah, 8.5 by 11. I was like, okay, cool, that'll give me like a 1/2 inch to work with. That'll give me like a little tiny border on the edge. I can work with that. It wasn't even 8 inches across. It was like 7 3/4. I was like, what? I was like, I can't. What? Like, no. But we made it work. But this stuff's a little bit better size-wise, so. Alright. Oh, you know what? Actually, give me just a little bit of that. I want to fill this guy in here. We have a little bit of a spot that got missed in here. I want to take care of that right now while we're seeing it. So don't worry, I'm still working on the other speed felt, I promise. I think I'm either working on the 9th live stream or I just finished editing number 9. So 10, 11, 12. I have 3 more live streams on that one left to edit down before I can add in the audio. Right now I'm sitting at just 2 hours. No, I'm just under 2 hours on that speed felt video, which isn't bad considering that one was 12 episodes, 12 live streams, and they weren't short live streams either. Several of those were 3+ hours, so that's not bad, but it is a lot of editing, so. But we're getting there, we're getting there. If my migraine holds off a bit today, while I'm eating dinner, I might start working on the next bit of video. Because I don't want to put the piece that we worked on in that video up on the Kofi shop yet until I have the video done to link to it, sort of thing. It'll just save me some time. I did get the picture of Reginald put up on Instagram, though. I did get that done last night. I didn't do it on Kofi yet. I still need to do that, but it is up on Insta. I didn't get the photo of my dad's Christmas ornament posted, though, because we never took the picture. We talked about it, and I could do the pictures myself, but then I need to get out the Canon, or big digital camera, and swap chips and things, and I can do it, but it's just easier if I can get the husband to help me with it. We just never got around to it, but that's okay. Not a big deal on that. Hope everybody's having a good day. Hope you guys aren't too hungover from New Year's Eve celebrations. We're not, because we don't, number one, we don't really have the money to drink. And number two, we're not really drinkers, so. I mean, I think the most I've had was maybe a couple of wine coolers here and there, and like a frozen pouch thing that was cheap from Walmart. That's about it. But there's reasons why I don't want to drink too much, so. Once in a great while. I tried wine, I just couldn't get into it. Didn't like it. Or maybe it was just the ones that I tried. They're just too bitter for me. I have terrible sweet tooth. Like, I'd rather have sparkling apple cider because it's sweet than like some of the other stuff. It's like, no, I'm good. I was sad though, we didn't see the cranberry ginger ale at all on its own this holiday season. I don't know if Canada Dry stopped making it or what, but we would always grab several 2 liters of it. Didn't see it at all this season. Unless it was just Walmart not carrying it, that's possible. I seem to go through phases where Russell and I will find something that we like and then poof, it's just gone. No explanation, no warning, no nothing. Like I said, I am trying to overlap our bits of fluff here a little bit. Like, not tremendously so, but just enough to where it seems to be a bit seamless where possible. Now, I did have a split just open up there. We'll take care of that in just a second. Not really a split, but a thin area open up because we're pulling the fibers in a different direction now. But Not a huge deal. My goodness, that person in their diesel truck that just tried to pull out from that corner. When they got into the gas, it sounded like a wild animal screaming. Like a bobcat or something. The coyotes are back, though. I wasn't sure if the bitter cold temperatures had chased them to a different spot, but the other night, I guess before the mother-in-law came back, he said he was hearing them really loud. And then we were outside doing something, and I can't remember what. Or maybe we were in the bedroom. And we were hearing something that was either an animal fight or a child screaming. I thought it sounded like a small yippy dog though, so don't know what that was about. Never heard any sirens or anything, and I'm sure we weren't the only people that heard it. So I guess it was just a dog getting into a tussle or barking at somebody outside. It seems like nobody brings their dogs in at night around here. I'm just flattening this out on the back, just kind of laying it down. It makes it lay a little bit flatter when we're over here working. All right. And you can cut your fluff to fit the area that you need. That's fine. It's just fluff. You can cut it. It'll be okay. Look like a little cardboard fuzzy had gotten in there. I wouldn't be surprised. We were using the cardboard template on the mat last week while we were trying to work out the pin prototype. I need to find my pin backs. I believe I know where they are. I think I saw them when I was searching for the glue gun. I just need to go and dig them back out and see how many pin backs I want to go ahead and grab. So right in here, we've got a bit of a thin section too. Not terribly thin, but a little bit. Which is nice with this gray underneath because it's not as dire that thin spot get covered, not like when we had the neon yellow back there. Or the orange. So it does make the thinner spots not quite as in your face, but so if you were to miss one, I mean, depending on what color that you're laying down here, so. Alright, so we are following, or at least using for inspiration, the Joy of Painting Season 3, Episode 4. What did I say? It was Winter Night from Bob Ross. Now, I have had to change the colors slightly. So, the colors that we're using aren't going to necessarily be the same that he is. Because he used liquid black on this one. And it kind of changed all of the shading on everything. And with the way the lights were hitting it in the studio there when he recorded it, and the way it was coming across with all the other colors on there, as we were looking at it, that base color in the background to me on the finished piece looked dark, 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 like Prussian blue mixed with black, is what I thought it was. But when you actually start playing the tutorial from the beginning, he just slaps on the liquid black and then dives into the titanium white and uses how wet the liquid black is to gray down that titanium white. So it's actually black in the background on his piece with white, and so it's making shades of gray, and I'm just like, oh, that's not what I thought this was. So we'll never get that multitude of shades of gray without buying that many shades of gray. And I already kind of felt pretty good about our plan that we kind of came up with the color options that we had on hand. So I'm kind of like, well, you know what, we're just gonna trudge through. Our colors are just gonna be a little bit different, and that's fine. This gives us a little bit more something to work with. And I'm okay with the sky being this dark navy because for a winter sky, I think, you know, any snow that would be in the air or any snow on the ground would be reflecting a little bit of light back up. So I don't think it would necessarily be full on black anyway. But then again, you know, he said he's just giving us the idea and trying to show us how to use tools and techniques and stuff. So this is the colors that we're gonna go with. It's just gonna work better for this. In the next episode, when we get to it in a couple of weeks, maybe a month or so, we will also be adjusting those colors. Hey Dave, how's it going? Happy New Year. Hope you guys are doing all right. Hope everyone had a good New Year's. A lot of people have been posting pictures about eating their black-eyed peas for luck today on Facebook and stuff. I don't do black-eyed peas. Like, I'm not real big into beans and things, so I can't. And I'd never heard of this until we moved down here either, so I guess it's a southern state thing. Never ever heard of it. It's interesting. I hope everything was okay. Everything's been okay with you. Hope your holidays were good. What the fuck? Flamingos? There's a raid. Holy shit, 20 people. Hi! Hi, welcome. Welcome, the crafty artist and friends. Thank you for popping in here. Wow, that's a lot of people. Hello, welcome, welcome. I was like, wait, what just popped up on my screen? Well, welcome. I am Nisey. We do a bit of different things around here. Bit of a variety. We do games a couple days a week, and a couple days a week we do arty stuff. We're just getting started on a new needle felting project where we are sort of following along with Bob Ross' tutorial. And except instead of using paint, we're using fiber. So we're kind of needle felting along with that. We are felting along with season 3 of The Joy of Painting. Earlier in 2022, we already completed the first 3 tutorials of season 3. So we are picking back up now that the holidays are over and I'm done all of my holiday crafting. We're picking up with episode 4 of season 3. So, nope, hey, that's fine. Thank you for visiting and saying hello. I know all about needing to eat and be like, I just want to go eat. And you have to clean up. That's fine. That's more than fine. Thanks for popping in. Trust me, I feel you. No worries. No worries at all. Oh, where'd my mouse go? My mouse keeps going to sleep. There it is. All right. So, Dave, where was your comment, Dave? It got lost in here. You're having chopped leftover prime rib with broccoli and rice. Nice. Doesn't sound half bad. We don't do any special meals for us on New Year's because I'm tired. We don't have the energy. It's a lot doing all of the holiday cooking and stuff leading up to Christmas, and then, you know, once Christmas is done, it's like, all right, back to normal. Back to normal. So, I don't know what the husband did for dinner. I think he may have already eaten. I'm just having some chicken tender things that we bought a package of, and I'm throwing a couple of those in the oven, and it's probably going to be with angel hair pasta and a container of spaghetti sauce that we froze. So that's all dinner is going to be tonight for me, because I'm just not up to cooking anything elaborate tonight. The migraine monster is knocking on the door and I'm trying to tell it to go away, but it's not buying my lie of nobody's home, so it sees the car in the driveway. I'm just like, no, nobody's here. It's trying to be there though. So yeah, no, this is what we're working on today. We're working on getting our background color in. Turns out Bob used black and white to make gray shades in the background. I ended up going with a dark denim. This is yarn. This is Big Twist Value yarn from Joann's. It's their house brand. It's just what I ended up with in this shade to kick things off. What did you type?
Oh, I shared a link to your previous needle felting thing so that people can see what the end results are.
Where's that go? Oh, is that the needle felting playlist?
Yeah, the playlist
okay.
on YouTube.
Okay. I should add that to Moobot, but I haven't yet.
It's appropriate to react when people are there to see it.
Oh yeah, true. And if you are interested in seeing this Bob Ross tutorial in full, because we're going to be pausing it a lot as we're working on putting things in. So this is a little bit of a slower medium to work with at times, especially doing it at the size that I am. I know we're zoomed in a bit here. This is sized to 8 by 10, is the inner square. The outer square is 9 by 12. I was going to go 5 by 7 on this one, but then I was looking at the cabin that ends up coming in on this a little bit later, and I was like, oof, I don't know if I can work quite that small with this, because with this stuff, the smaller you go, the harder it can be to get done everything that you need to get done without it looking like a hot mess. So decided to flip over and not do the 5 by 7 and went with the 8 by 10, mostly because this felt is actually sized correctly as opposed to my other felt squares. So we were able to actually get that in there. So we got that going. But yeah, we're back to Coral Island too, so that's fun. That's nice to be back to our regularly scheduled stuff that we were working on before the holidays really took over. It was nice being back in there this past week. And you know, it's always nice to dick around and play at zoo for a few hours. Being indecisive about how I want things to look and having to change things when they're not looking the way I wanted them to. So what's today? Today is Sunday. We've got an art stream scheduled for tomorrow afternoon at some point, weather and migraine permitting. I'm going to put that on there right now. Make sure you're following on Twitter or that you have the notifications turned on here, because I do post when we're going live. In fact, I've got Stream Elements connected now, so I don't have to worry about posting on Twitter, because sometimes I have been known to type the tweet out and go live and then finish for the day, and as I'm closing down windows, I then see, or closing tabs and stuff, and then I see Twitter open, and I never hit tweet after typing everything out. So, you know, probably best that Stream Elements just tweets it for me, because then it's one less thing that I have to remember. But, yeah, so thank you guys for stopping in. Greatly appreciate that. And yeah, we've done a few other things. We don't do just fiber art. Sometimes we paint. Sometimes we do crafty things. Sometimes we do paper art. Where we'll do stuff with tissue paper and things. Wish we had more time to do all of the things, but you know, only so much time in the day that we have to work with, especially around here, because we never know when things are going to go sideways and we have to call it a day early. But I would at least like to get most of this background put in today. We'll see how far we get. We'll see. So yeah, it's weird. I've felt kind of lost the past couple of weeks, because while I enjoyed the break from the podcast being on winter vacation, it's been kind of weird. So I always have this moment of when the show comes back from being off for a week or two of, oh god, I don't remember how to do any of this now. So I mean, I've been doing post-production and setting up all of the things for the website posts and everything for it for a while, but I always have this moment of, oh shit. Oh yeah, and so for the WoW Challenges crew, I hope none of you actually were in WoW last night. Because I didn't realize this was taking place until like 10 p.m. my time, Central, when I went to go post some stuff on Auction House and went to walk into the first Trade District Auction House in Stormwind and saw Auction House dance party going on, and I was like, what? This was not on the calendar, this was not advertised, I did not know it was going to be happening, so I hope none of you actually partook in that. Because that happy feet buff isn't allowed because it heals you. So, yeah. At that point, I mean, it was going to go away. So I didn't bother doing the tweet on it because we've told people before not to do it. And it was so late when I found it, I was like, oh shit. So hopefully nobody got dinged with that. So I was like, damn. Dark Moon Fair is back in town. For those that are partaking in challenges stuff. So if you're on a challenger that can go, that is back up and available. Did you go to that yet or no? Did you go to Dark Moon Fair yet on the Hunter?
Oh yeah, no, I did our professional.
Okay, I just didn't know if I had to go. Did we actually get knowledge points, or was it stuff that wasn't applying to us?
I think I got knowledge points.
Was there any to spend?
Huh?
Did you have any to spend in the book?
Yes.
Okay, then you did, because I didn't have any.
So you didn't have any extra.
No.
Okay, and I didn't get enough points. So yeah.
Okay. You know, I've been spending those as I get them.
It says that you're still getting them for the Shadowlands.
Uh-huh.
But you don't actually get them for Shadowlands as far as I can tell.
Okay. So, we've been farming on a regular character. Trying to get enough tokens to get Diablo 4. But I'm gonna have to hop on one of my Bloodthirsty challengers this week. At some point with the podcast coming back. Because I don't know, like I said, I don't know if I'm supposed to be co-hosting this week or if she's doing a solo show. I haven't heard from her. So she said she'd get back to me when it got closer. I don't know if she even thought about it because she's been busy with the holidays. Plus, it's been really rough. The community's been having a rough couple of days. We recently found out one of our longtime veteran members passed away a couple of days ago. So that was rough. Because it was completely unexpected. We didn't even know that they were ill. Explains where they've been lately, though. We thought that they were just taking a break for a while, but yeah, that explains that. But, so that was a bit of a shock. And then a previous mod that's still a friend of the community and a personal, well, and a friend of mine too. They had someone pass away right before Christmas. So it's just been a tough holiday season. So if I've been a little extra quiet on Twitter, that's why. There's just been a bunch of stuff going on. Just trying to keep my head down, get through. I got through the end of the year with as little fuss as possible. As little chaos as possible, although as much as we're trying to control the chaos going on, it's not working. But we're trying. The universe has had other plans, though. Alright, let's see here. It's starting to look a little more... Okay, that's what that is. I kept looking... kept looking up at my monitor at this, trying to see if it looked like it was turning the color that it should have been. And I kept seeing a spot around in here that looked like it was a lighter color. And I'm like, what is this? Like, I'm trying to turn it in the light, and you guys probably saw me tilting this funny. I'm like, what is going on here? There was a mark on my monitor. It wasn't on this. So I'm like, look, I don't see it. Is the way the light's hitting it? Like, what is happening? Nope. It was the mark on my monitor. It must have been paint or something, because I scratched it and it came right off. Not surprising. A little surprising. We haven't painted in a little bit, but I do want to whip out the paints. I've got some gouache. It's dried out though, so I'm gonna have to see if I can work some magic with it. I just haven't had the time to sit down and work on getting it back to usable, because by the time I spend the time that I had allotted to paint with it, it's going to be eaten up by getting the wash set, and then I don't know when I'm going to have time to get back to it. So I still have acrylic paint though. We got a ton of acrylic paint. We could use that. Because there's a piece that I want to needle felt, but I also want to do a paint companion, or a paint with it. Like, I want to paint the same thing and I want to needle felt it. Just because I've been wanting to paint a bit, but that one I'm going to needle felt to embroidery hoop size. It's not a Bob Ross follow along, so that one's a different photo that I found on Unsplash. So if you're having trouble finding reference photos for stuff, Unsplash is a good one. Just make sure you're on the royalty-free side instead of the iStock side. Because the iStock images, those ones aren't free. So just make sure what it is you're pulling from before you go ahead and commit yourself to wanting to use that. And if you want to be super certain, you can always reverse Google search the image. Just to be 100% certain. But this is what we're working on for the next couple of weeks. I really am hoping in the next 2 weeks I can get that last speed felt done being edited. I think the remaining live streams were all around 3 hours. I think. So those might take me about 2 days a piece to get through, depending on how many cuts I have to make. So we'll see. The biggest thing is how much audio am I gonna have to, much background audio am I gonna have to lay in. That's the biggest thing on those guys. But we'll see when we get there. I know right now this is boring as hell, but we're getting there. You gotta start somewhere, right? Not every piece is glamorous from the very beginning. And you've gotta start at the beginning to get to the end. And unfortunately, with this stuff, it can be kinda meh at the very beginning. But we are filling in really nicely. I peel up off of this mat. This mat's seen some things. Got glitter, bits of styrofoam. Because if I don't, I have had instances where if I don't peel it up often, I'm just flattening down the back a little bit, that it will attach itself to this mat. And then when it comes time to peel it up, it won't peel up. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's why the mat's a little bit misshapen and not laying flat, because I've had to really yank on it to get it up at times. And oh god, I can feel that's what she said jokes coming, but let's not go there right now. I can feel it coming. But yeah, so that's why I try to check on how that is faring as we go. So yeah, I'm gonna have to work on that Challenger this week, I think. I did get them to 61. I haven't been feeling Dragonflight very much for WoW this time, this expansion. Just not. It doesn't help that my playtime is kind of up in the air right now, because I'm gonna have to try to earn tokens, because we're just so tight finances right now with everything happening. Because husband's still doing the disability fight and all, and we're in the official appeal process at the moment, but we're waiting on paperwork from the government to get sent to us and stuff, and we've sent in everything that was required so far. I'm not sure if he's gonna try to go to another doctor yet or not. I have to ask him, but we'll see. So any playtime I have right now is gonna be token. But right now our priority is trying to get D4. It was supposed to be a Christmas gift, and I have enough tokens for one copy. But he wants me to have a copy too, because he doesn't want to play by himself. So that's what we're working on now. So it's going to be more of like a joint Valentine's Day gift, kind of. Because he's helping farm when I'm busy, like I am now. So we'll see what happens with that. But the dragon riding, man, I just haven't been able to do it. I can't. Instant headache. I can't do it myself, and I can't watch somebody else do it. Like, I cannot be looking at the screen whatsoever. Something with the graphics that are baked into it, all of the settings I've tried playing with, nothing is working on that front. So it's just been hard to be excited about it. Just really has been. He was trying to do a little bit of the questing. I did some of the questing up to the dragon riding stuff. He took over and did a little bit. He's not always feeling well though, so but he did a little bit. And then he kind of was like, meh, about the questing again, so I'm still in the first zone as far as questing is concerned. It's just been tough. Like, he hopped on the dragon mount and was trying to go, like, I was trying to show him where I was hanging around farming in this one area, and he hopped on the mount to try to do an overview of the route for me to show him. I'm like, you gotta get off that mount. I was like, I can't even look at you riding on that mount on the screen. I can't do it. So I think I looked at it for like maybe 10 seconds and I could already feel the headache trying to build. I'm like, yep, nope, I'm out. I was like, I love you, have fun, I'm sorry, but I can't watch that mount on the screen. Like, I just can't do it. I'm glad some people are enjoying it, and as much as I really want them to give us access to normal flying for out there, for those of us that can't do the dragon riding, I don't think they're going to. I hope I'm wrong. Like, I really do. But I don't think they're gonna do it. And I'm also curious about the white gear transmog. Because when we first heard it announced, they were saying you'll be able to transmog the white and gray gear, or maybe just the white gear, something like that. And everybody was excited because everybody is like, oh, we're gonna be able to make the white gear look like the green gear. The more I'm seeing wording around this, the more I think we misunderstood. I hope I'm wrong. And it was just the way that a couple of these other articles worded their information. But I think I saw an article, where was it? Was it Icy Veins? And maybe on Wowhead, the way they had it worded, it was like the blue posts were saying you'll have to put the gray or the white gear on, whichever it is. If it's not both, it might just be white. It might be both. You'll have to put it on for it to become soulbound if you already have it in your inventory. So that way the transmog system will pick up that you have the appearance, that you've learned the appearance on the white and or gray gear. And that gave me pause, because that makes it sound like the green and up gear that you're wearing, you're going to be able to make it look like the gray / and or white gear. It didn't make it sound like if you had gray or white on, you were going to be able to make it look like the green and up stuff. So I'm not sure if this is going to be working the way we originally thought it was going to be working. I don't know. But it's supposed to be coming in a patch soon-ish. I just don't know what the date on that patch is going to be. I also saw that they're going to be doing, in an upcoming patch, they're going to be adding some more UI changes. Some of the stuff that we were requesting in beta, it looks like they're finally going to get around to doing. Like being able to move the XP bar and the bags. Which should have been done before game release, because that was dumb to have everything else be movable except for those two things. Like that made no sense. But it looks like they're finally getting around to doing that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. There's definitely some interesting things taking place. Soon in game. for sure. Alright, let's pop that up. Alright, and again, I'm just kind of coming back in, just kind of brushing down the back, just getting that to lay a little bit flatter, smoothing everybody out here. Oh, we've got some escapee fuzzies. That's alright. Now I can't turn around and reuse those because there's some of the gray fuzz from the felt melding into those, so I'm just gonna put that in my little discard can. I have a little trash can. It's supposed to be a pencil holder, but I have a little trash can that I picked up from Dollar Tree when it had been on the registers. It was like definitely an impulse buy. I was like, oh, I don't know why I want this. I don't know what I'm gonna use it for, but I definitely want it. So now it's just sort of my little fuzz disposal container, my little tiny trash bin. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to fluff more of this color because we might end up using almost all of this that I have in the bag. So I have a wall of fluff, I call it my fluff wall, my yarn wall, where I've got nails in the wall and I've got like nylon cord running along it, kind of like making like a clothesline kind of thing. And then I've got these sandwich Ziploc bags, and I've been taking the barcodes off of the wrappers on the things of yarn. Some of them have the color. The lot number is not gonna help me for this, but because I don't use that much of it where I'm gonna be able or worry about lots mixing. But at least the color's there, and the UPC, and the paint box yarns don't have the color name on the barcode. They have the color number, so you might have to look back up on either your packing slip or your or on the item on the website to get the color name if you want it on there. And I've just been doing that and then shoving prepping yarn into the sandwich bags. That way I have it all ready to go in the colors that I have, so that way I can just grab the bag and use it as I need it, and then as the bag starts to empty, I go back and add more of that color to it. Just makes it easier. Now I have like a little wall of fluff that I'm slowly working on building. Much to the husband's dismay, he's like, where are you gonna store all this? I'm like, oh, I'm gonna add the new ones to there. And he's like, that's my side of the bed, so I don't know if we're gonna be able to put too much more over there. I'm like, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Because there's no room to store anything in this house. So, and I don't like stuff being in containers because then I lose track of it and what container it's in and everything. It's bad enough I have to put the yarn that didn't get fluffed in containers, but like we have a whole bunch of cat litter containers that are like the plastic like buckets that have lids on them and stuff, and we clean those out real good. And I've been storing the paint box yarns in those. So I can get quite a few of those smaller balls in there. And then I have a tower of drawers next to me that I have the big twist yarn in because that stuff's bigger. Like the skeins are longer than the Lovecraft stuff, paint box. Alright, I know we still have a little bit more there to tap down into place, but I felt like we needed to reposition because this piece is a little bit bigger than my mat. So I'm gonna have to pick up and slide it around at times. Yeah, I'm trying to organize the yarn on my yarn wall, my fluff wall, by color. And I realized that I didn't do all of the blues yet that I had picked up for Christmas. So I have to leave room on that end of the thing for those colors to come in. But I remembered, and I don't remember why I was looking for it, but I remember when we were working on the Christmas stuff that I was sitting here looking at the little bags of fluff, and I was like, I could have swore I had some pinks in the roving sample color set that I had picked up last year that I hadn't used all of yet, that I was trying to use it up. I can't remember what on earth I was working on, but I do remember thinking I could have swore I had some like pinks and purples and couldn't find them. I found them. They were hanging on the yarn wall. Just the bag that they were in got hidden by other stuff. But now I can't remember why I was looking for it. For the life of me, I cannot remember. No idea. Maybe it was to make some flamingo Christmas ornaments? Possibly? I don't remember. The thought was like, it's partially sitting in the back of my brain. I just can't grab it. It's buried under a bunch of stuff. Like, I wasn't sure if it was for a specific project or not. And that might have been why I wrote it off in my head when I couldn't find them. Because I was like, well, no, can't find it. Unless I was thinking for the Bob Ross thing when we were working on that pink sketch. Maybe that's what I was thinking, but there wouldn't have been enough in there to do one of these, to get very far with it, because they were just little tiny like floss bag sized samples. So I'm not doing too bad getting this background color in. Whoop. So I'm grabbing some fluff, and then I'm kind of like mixing the fiber up and around and stuff, and then I'm trying to make like a little fiber sneak here, little fiber sneaky guy. Don't want it too thin, but it doesn't need to be too thick either. Wake up, mouse. I have a wireless mouse again, and I'm still getting used to it. We had to replace my other mouse, and I found one that had a flamingo on it. I was like, of course, I have to get that. It's not that comfortable to game with, though. So, I mean, that kind of sucks to that degree. But it's a flamingo mouse, so, you know, gotta do that. Of course we do. Sorry, I was just seeing who was around. Nobody on my list. Okay. I was trying to see if Taco was streaming, but I don't see her streaming right now. But that's okay. Alright, so let's see. I want to come back over here. So we need to be a little bit more careful on our edge here, because I don't want to lose our crisp edge if we can help it. I mean, we'll be able to trim it up when we trim off the excess, And I do like that I have this border here in case things get a little crazy. I like that we're not right on the border like we were with the other felt. So that makes me happy, but I also want to make sure that we don't fully lose that crisp edge there. All right. So we just got a little bit more to put in here on this shade. And then that'll be looking pretty good for session 1. Considering I just wanted to get this color laid in before we started putting our dark gray of our sky in. This is starting to look a little more, come on stuff. Marvin, keep them in line. Everything's falling. I touch one thing and everything falls on this desk, I swear. A very small workspace. Like I said, there's no storage in this house. We have too many people in this house. And not enough place to put things. Because everybody seems to have a ton of stuff. Like the husband and I don't even have a closet for our clothes. We have a shelf and some storage containers. It's crazy. But what can you do, right? Times are tough. Gotta make the best of it. So this is how it is. It's just how things are right now. Alright. So I know the horizon line's a little sketchy. We're not completely up to our line, but that's okay. Because we're going to end up losing that line at some point here anyhow. And I wasn't quite sure how far down things were going to get placed, because there wasn't a good view of this piece that he did for some reason. I don't know why, but when this one was filmed, they were all about this 3/4 angle shot when they were recording this one. I'm not sure if something happened with the other camera. I don't know. Maybe there was a weird glare because he was using the liquid black so much. But this one, maybe it was just something they were doing this season, but they were like all about this 3/4 view. And it was a little frustrating because, let me see here. Like, when we were looking at it from this angle, like I don't know if you can see it that well in the square there at the corner. It kind of feels like there's a curved pathway there, right? Like the tree line in the back kind of feels like it's sitting on an angled ridge, right? Like it's coming towards you a little bit, like around the corner. But then, after he signed it, and they look at it dead on, that weird angle isn't there as much. And I'm just like, what? So this was like the only time during this that they actually looked at it dead on. And all of the credits were in the way. And I was like, ugh, really? And 5-seconding it forward didn't really help. Because that just kind of sat there. It was very, like, that's probably like the least credit in the way thing. So I mean, the angle's there a little bit, but it doesn't look anywhere near like it did in the other camera views. So that frustrated me a little bit after we got the sketch done. So I'm just gonna kind of go with what we've got here, and we'll try to make it work with the colors that we have, that we've already tested and picked out. So this one was definitely a bit of a challenge to try to figure out. I have a really sloppy sketch that we worked on last Monday, because this one I was just kind of at a loss, really, of how I wanted to approach it. So we'll see if our plan is gonna work, because you know we can't follow Bob 100% for what he's doing, because paint and fiber, little bit different, but you know, we're gonna do what we can. And so far our sky's going in pretty good. Our background color here looks a little thin in that spot, but that'll be alright. I mean, we've been doing pretty good about getting those layered in there. So it's a close-up of what we're looking like. So see, it is actually a bit of that navy color. For some reason, all the way down here, it's looking black. I've got 3 different lights on this sucker. So I don't know why it's looking black. If I flip the other light down on this, I think it might kick up color bar, like the black bars on it because of the frame rate. So that's an LED daylight bulb. And that's not going to twist the way I want it to, so we're just gonna leave it alone. We're not gonna fuss with it. I have a very simplified but yet complicated setup for how we've had to make things work within the budget that we've had. So we don't have any fancy ring lights or anything, or any fancy diffused lighting and all that. I've got a shop light bouncing off the wall next to me, trying to disperse and diffuse the light with like a daylight LED bulb. I've got this tiny ass LED desk light that I use all the time, even when we're not streaming, just as it's always on. And then I have one of the lights that we used when we were painting the Bob Ross, the tiny ones, the little magnet guys, and probably the canvases, that I had it sitting over here just to light things up a bit better. I've got that light hanging off the top of my monitor. Fortunately, that one had like a gooseneck, so that you could adjust the direction that the light was facing in, kind of thing. So I've got that just kind of sitting on the neck on the monitor, because that one has a flat base on it. So the things that we do to make stuff work on a budget, I swear. But we all have our own things to set up, right? Because we don't have a lot of room to set up stuff, so that's why the camera's at a slightly odd angle, because it's sitting on top of my monitor, because I don't have a way to do a proper overhead camera at the moment. but that's okay. And I really only have the one camera right now that's functioning. I have that other camera, but I wasn't really that happy with it. And I don't know where it is. It got shuffled around. I thought the husband was going to use it for something, so I don't know if it ended up in a bucket of his wires or if he gave it back to me and it's somewhere in the abyss that is my desk. Who knows? I don't know what happened to it. I do know it's here somewhere. Just its exact location? Don't know. It went wherever every cable, wire, accessory that you didn't need at that moment, but end up needing it later and can't find it, went to. Like, we would have to do a rip this place apart, moving clean. You know, when you start going through every single box to figure out, do I really need, what is this? Is this something that really has to come with me? Kind of cleaning. You all know what I'm talking about. The type of cleaning where I am not lugging this to another location if I can just get rid of it. We try to label the boxes that we put stuff in. Sometimes that works, but then sometimes the labels fall off too, so. Or we forget to change the label on the box. All those types of things. Alright. Uh-oh. See, this is what I mean about trying to make sure that we're pulling up on that often. That one got a little attached to its location there. Like, oopsie doodles. Yeah, that's not good. Alright, so let's work on getting this thin spot worked in here. I will say it'll be good to get back to some sense of normalcy next week, because with the holiday falling on the weekend, the city's closed tomorrow, so they're not doing trash pickup like normal tomorrow. So it's still going to be another week before everything is fully back into some sense of normal routine around here. At least as far as all things are considered. So that'll be nice to a degree. Try to get some of this holiday chaos back under control here. 'Cause I don't like it when they're, like, I understand that, you know, cities closing extra for holidays and stuff. I get that. I'm not complaining about that. It's just my own brain getting confused about what's getting picked up when and trying to remember, and it's a chaotic tornado up there on a good day. So trying to remember all of the different schedules and stuff can be a bit overwhelming. I'm trying to remember, okay, this goes out that day, this goes out this day. It doesn't help that they changed our recycling day too recently. Like right before, I think the beginning of December, they changed it. So I've been trying to get used to that. Plus, I would gauge my stream schedule as to when other stuff had to get done. So, like, we used to stream on Wednesdays, and I was like, okay, Wednesday, after I'm done streaming, then I have to do the promo tweet for the podcast on the weekend. And then I have to make sure that I get the recycling out because it's Wednesday and stuff. And then, you know, we changed the stream schedule to not be streaming on Wednesday. So then I had a hard time remembering that it was Wednesday to go get the Wednesday chores done and stuff. So I really want to finish this, but I'm getting really hungry. So I think we're gonna stop here for tonight. We've been going 3.5 hours. My neck is kind of toast at this point, and I'm really hungry. My stomach's growling. I can't ignore it any longer. Let me just do a quick look-see here. I don't know if anybody's streaming that I am familiar with here that I'm comfortable taking you guys to. Let me check my one other list here real super quick. Oh my god, my stomach is so loud. Oh, excuse me. Let's see. Who's going here? I don't see anybody that I am familiar with here. Oh, stomach, stop it. We're gonna go eat in just a second. Alright, so yeah, I don't really see anybody that I'm comfortable taking you guys to go visit, so... Because if I'm not familiar with them, I'm not comfortable taking you guys in there, so I don't know what we're walking into. So, yeah, we'll call that today. We'll pick this back up tomorrow afternoon. We will finish filling in our dark sky color, and then we will start to put in our gray, our dark gray, which was supposed to be our lighter sections of the sky, or our clouds and stuff. We'll work on that tomorrow. That will be tomorrow's goal. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you, Raiders, for coming in. And thank you, the Crafty Artist, for the raid altogether. Don't forget to follow all the socially places down below. We've got the YouTube, where I try to archive most of the live streams, if not all, and sometimes you'll see something pop up there that wasn't live streamed. That's NiseyBGN, same as here. And then we've got the Kofi page, we've got the Instagram and the Twitter while it's still there. I'll probably just be there until whenever, and we'll see what happens with that. If Twitter goes away, then I'll do the Facebook page, but for now Twitter's enough for what I'm using it for. So I hope to see you guys all tomorrow. If I don't see you tomorrow, then the next day we'll be back is Thursday with some Coral Island gaming fun. So until next time, you guys have a great night, and I hope you have a great new year.